Let's go to Bill in West Hartford, Connecticut, the amateur astronomer. Hey, Bill, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, George, for saying that. Thank you. Yes, hi, Robert Zimmerman. I am an amateur astronomer. And by the way, what you just said about the Van Allen radiation belt, which is a few hundred miles above the Earth to 1,000 miles above the Earth, at that distance from the Earth, the spacecraft, the Apollo spacecraft, we're going about 25,000 miles an hour. So they did zip through it. Now, I have two quick questions for you. I'll ask them at the same time. Question number one, do you think that the first indications of life, or the first data of some kind of life, most likely microbial life on Mars, will come from a spacecraft that is already in orbit around Mars? That's the ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter, TGO, that got to Mars last month in October, that has a methane detector that can detect specifically the methane coming from biology. In other words, it can distinguish between biological methane and geological methane. And question number two, related to Donald Trump, who I don't like. I voted for Hillary Clinton, but nevertheless, regarding the space exploration and Mars specifically, do you think it's possible, because Donald Trump talks a lot about infrastructure on planet Earth, that maybe, just maybe, he might be for infrastructure in space, in the sense that he might be the 21st century version of John F. Kennedy? In other words, for Mars, do what John F. Kennedy did for the moon with the Apollo program.
Okay. Two good questions. The first one, the answer is yes. We have detected methane on Mars. Curiosity rover detected it, and not only that, in intermittent puffs, which means the sources are localized. And that alone is very significant, because it's either biogenic, as created by life, or it's created by hydrothermal systems, which are places where life could be. And so that's already, in a sense, the first indication of life on Mars. And yes, the Trace Gas Orbiter, which just got into orbit around Mars last month, has the ability to refine our understanding of these things, and it could, it could identify the methane as being biogenic, if that's what it is. Now, even if it's not biogenic, it'd be great to localize the hydrothermal vents where it is, because there could be other kinds of life in those things. Now, in terms of Trump, well, that's a big unknown, okay? I got to tell you, I mean, people see what they want to see in Trump. I think that's how he won the election, that, people believe what they want to believe. And I can't rule anything out. I can't rule anything in. On the campaign trail during the primary in the season, he made disrespectful comments about human space exploration. But later on, when he went to Florida to campaign, he said he was all for space exploration. He does appear to want to throw a lot of money around to create jobs.
Well, this would create jobs.
Well, yeah. So that would be that. If he wants to do something that really makes a statement that America is great again, send humans to Mars. On the other hand, he does have advisors who, are not for the space program, and he has advisors, frankly, who are pro-Russian. And if we're going to defend Europe, we have to have space superiority, and they might not be in favor of that. So who knows? There seems to be quite a faction fight going on within the Trump administration right now over this choice of Secretary of State. So this could come out any which way.
I'm just amazed. We went to the moon 47 years ago with old technology. You would think we could pick up and do stuff like today without any problems at all, Bob.
Yeah, well, what I like to say is that we went to the moon because in the 1960s people didn't wear bicycle helmets. That is, we just had a different attitude towards risk. And now there are still some people, there's plenty of brave people in the world today, but they're not in government.
Yeah, they're not in government.
Controlling the government. Look, the generation that went to the moon were the younger brothers of the people that won World War II. And, of course, Kennedy actually fought in World War II. And the and they understood that there were things worth risking your lives for. And now people say, well, we can't go to Mars until we know it's going to be safe. Well, that's nonsense. No one ever explored new lands with the guarantee that it was going to be safe. Lewis and Clark didn't know it was going to be safe, crossing the American continent.
Columbus didn't know it was going to be safe.
Yeah, Columbus didn't know. If you want to do this stuff, if you want to go where people have never gone before, you can't ask for a guarantee it's going to be safe.